Am I the asshole for being upset at my husband for what he got me for my birthday? My 39th birthday was last week. Months ago I was talking with my mom about a part of our state that I love to visit, and she mentioned that she has never been there. I told her we should go together sometime, and we started planning it. We ended up deciding on going there for my birthday. During the planning we realized that my mom, my brother, and I had never been on a trip together, just the three of us, so we invited my brother too. My husband was fully supportive of us taking this trip and would be staying home with our 3-year-old son and our dog. Before we left last week, my husband gave me the gifts he bought me for my birthday. He got me some comfy pajamas, a sun hat, and some good wine and cheese to bring with on the trip. Normally, I would be totally okay with that gift as we don't really splurge on B-Day gifts anymore. But he had been talking about getting me a smart watch and new luggage for my trip ever since we started planning it. He knows I can be kind of picky about gifts, as I have exchanged some of the gifts he's got me in the past for different colors or options. But this time I told him to just pick something out for me, as I want those things for the trip. He offered instead to go shopping with me so that I could pick out exactly what I want, because if I take them on the trip and don't like them, it's not likely I could return or exchange them. I thought that was a good idea, but life got busy, and before I knew it, it was the week of our trip and we hadn't had a chance to actually go shopping together. So the time comes for us to leave, and part of me was expecting my husband to surprise me with a new watch or weekend bag, but he didn't. I admit I was pretty disappointed that he didn't take the initiative to just get me those things on his own. I tried not to let it bother me during the trip, but it was always kind of in the back of my mind. After we got back, I mentioned to him that I was disappointed that he didn't get me the watch and bag like he said he would. He told me that he thought we had agreed to do it together, but I told him he knew how busy we were and it wouldn't have been much effort for him to just do it on his own. He got offended and told me that I just spent thousands of dollars on a nice, relaxing trip with my family while he stayed home and took care of everything, and I'm complaining about a watch and a bag? I told him that he knew how much I was looking forward to having those items for my trip, and I'm just disappointed that he didn't realize that and take the opportunity to do something special for me. He apologized for ruining my trip, but I know it wasn't sincere and he's just telling me what he thinks I want to hear. I offered to go shopping with him sometime to pick them out, and he told me to just go do it myself. Now I feel like crap, and I know he's mad at me for being ungrateful for the things he did get me and for allowing me the opportunity to have a trip like that with my family. You are the asshole because you set up a damned if you do, and damned if you don't, scenario for your husband. The two of you had agreed to go together to pick out exactly what you want. Life got in the way of that plan. If he had done it on his own, there was just as high a likelihood you would have been upset it wasn't exactly the color, size, kind you wanted, or that he had done it without you, despite your prior agreement. This was a no-win for your husband no matter what he did, so he chose the better option of not wasting a lot of money on something you may not like. Am I the asshole for making a complaint to CPS? When I married my soon-to-be ex, she had 4 bio children, 15 male, 13 male, 11 male and 6 female, and 2 adopted daughters, 11 Colombia, 7 Korea. We have 1 child, 2 male. In addition, my 11 female, 9 meters, from my previous relationship live with me full-time, as their mother doesn't really care much about her custody time. I have known my soon-to-be ex, Sally, bio children every 2 weeks for the past 4 years. Her 2 adopted girls lived with us as her ex doesn't want anything to do with them, as he has the daughter he always wanted. Sally lived in her mother's mother-in-law suite for now with all of her children. Sally wants to leave her adopted girls with me as part of the divorce proceedings, as she too doesn't want them, as she feels she has a bio daughter and has no need for them anymore. She is extra adamant that she should not have them, as the adoption agency cheated her out of a Hapa child. The Korean one is not Eurasian as she had hoped, but half Vietnamese and Korea. I don't want them, as I have never been a father figure, and the girls still talk about her ex as their dad despite no contact for so long. I simply can't afford more children than what I already have. I made a report to CPS when she mentioned she would rehome them if I wouldn't take them. I called CPS on her and they contacted her ex-HB workplace, as he works with children. He is temporary on unpaid leave while being investigated for neglect. Sally will now be investigated too. In the meantime, CPS has custody of all her children. My son is with me. She has called me every name under the sun and doesn't understand why I won't take them, as I have space in my house and experience with a girl, as I have a daughter too. She says I overreacted and we could have solved this in a different way. Am I the asshole for reporting to CPS? JFC. Those poor kids. They adopted the kids and then had a daughter so they no longer needs or wants them. Who are these awful people? Kids aren't dogs you rehome. I guess you had no other choice. I don't know what else you could do. Not the asshole. NTA for calling CPS. Rehoming literal children is so disgusting I don't even like thinking about it. Am I the asshole for asking for saying it's babysitting, even if the baby is biologically mine? I, 22 female, donated my eggs 3 years ago to my friends V and M, 30 male and 32 M, since they wanted to have a baby. I wasn't the surrogate but just the egg donor. Back then they used to say how I'll be the coolest godmother, aunt to the baby and we'll be a big happy family etc. Fast forward to when the baby boy was born. I only found out through social media posts, and when I congratulated them they hesitantly said since I'm the biological mother of the baby, my meeting the said baby might hamper their bonding as parental figure and so didn't want me to meet him till he's at least 2 years old. Well, their kid and their call, so I never questioned it or argued it. Last week was baby's 2nd birthday and they invited me to the party, and well, I'm good with kids. It's easy, just pretend to enjoy whatever game they are playing and laugh along. They noticed him getting along with me too much and requested I keep some distance from him. I was weirded out but complied. Well, yesterday they texted me that V has some family emergency and needed me to take baby for 2 days. I agreed but texted them babysitting rates. As a friend I would have agreed, but since they never let me interact with baby and acted weird, I said I will charge them. Now M is all over internet ranting about how it's called parenting and not babysitting when it's your own baby etc etc. So am I the asshole for babysitting a child who's supposed to be biologically mine? Edit. I just found out from a friend that the emergency is his sister plans to have lip and cheek fillers and he wants them to be there to emotionally support her. Not the asshole. They made you a stranger to the baby, so why would you consider it your child? It's one or the other, gentlemen. Not the asshole. The baby doesn't even know you and is not going to like being dumped with a stranger for 2 days. You are not a parent. They have made it very clear that they find you to be a threat to their own bond with the baby and want you at a distance. They chose that and don't get to rant about it now, when it's convenient to them to have you watch the kiddo. Especially since after those 2 days you probably won't see the kid again. Not the asshole. If I am the parent and you want me involved in this child's life as a parent, please let me know, so we can get a court-ordered visitation schedule arranged. I'd like 2 weeks of my choice in the summer, and alternate Thanksgivings. 'Cause fuck that, they are using you. Would I be the asshole for not wanting to hang up my daughter's artwork? My daughter, 12, is a very good artist, and recently unveiled something she was working on for a couple weeks. A portrait of our family, and she wants to hang it in the house. This isn't a picture of stick figures. This is semi-realistic charcoal sketch of me, my husband, our dog, and our cat. But my son and her brother, 10, isn't in the picture. My daughter claims that she forgot, and there wasn't any room for him in the picture, but I am very sure she did it on purpose. To explain why I am sure this was on purpose, I have 2 reasons. First off, the portrait depicts me next to my husband, and my daughter between us with the cat on her lap. The dog is next to us all. I am no artist myself, but it's very clear just what my daughter was trying to say. Second, my daughter has always had a very adversarial relationship with my son. She has always tried to get him in trouble, bullied him, and has resented him for existing. My son doesn't do much to aggravate her anymore, at least. He used to try to get on her nerves, but that stopped during lockdown. He doesn't go into her room, he doesn't try to take her things, he only reacts to her. Most days he's never in the same room except for meals. And even when we have meals, he never talks to her, she never says anything to him, but at least they aren't fighting. The picture took her a couple weeks to do, and this isn't something on an A4 piece of paper. This was done on a canvas, 18 by 24, with charcoal. It was pretty clear that a lot of work was put into it, yet she could include our dog and our cat, but not her brother. Husband thinks it would be rude to not hang it up, but I am pretty sure that our son will feel excluded because he wasn't in the picture. Husband says that this is actually improvement since the last time our daughter drew our son, it was done to anger him. This is of course raising red flags to me that he considers exclusion to be improvement. Yes, she has used her art to demean my son in the past. My son is aware of what my daughter did, but he's trying to put up a brave front. He tries to say that my daughter doesn't bother him, but I know it really does hurt him. I know his tells. I am thinking that maybe not wanting to hang it up might cause discouragement for her, that we don't want to show it off to anyone. So I am wondering, would I be the asshole if I didn't want to hang this in the house because my daughter didn't draw her whole family? How about instead of debating what artwork to put on the wall, you take your children to therapy to deal with whatever the underlying issue here is? You absolutely should not hang that in a common space in your home. Tell your daughter she can hang it in her room, but that only family portraits that include the whole family will be on display. Hanging it anywhere your son could see would be a slap in the face. Not the asshole. Also, maybe book your daughter some counseling. That's some pretty evil shit. I'm not convinced the son hasn't previously done something to elicit this behavior from her, especially since you state he doesn't do anything to aggravate her anymore. Okay, what did he used to do? You wouldn't be the first parent to wave away their son's wrongdoing. Edit. You are the asshole, confirmed my suspicions. Absent parenting led to this, and the son is just as much to blame as the daughter for them not getting along, but you've unfairly pinned all the blame on the daughter.